I'm Michelangelo, and I'm your guide to the world of wine. Today we're going to be going over proper tasting techniques. Now the thing with tasting a wine, it's really whatever works best for you. I use a kind of a regimented, structured program when I go over my tasting, but that's usually when I'm doing a structured blind tasting or if I'm doing any judging. Now if we're enjoying the wine, it's going to be a little bit different. But there's three things we're going to look for: the visual clues, the aromatics of the wine, as well as the flavor of the wine. Now today we're going to be tasting our 2006 Ceja Vineyards Vino de Casa Red Blend. It's 58% Pinot Noir, 36% Syrah, and then 6% Merlot here. We'll see how that blend affects the flavors and aromas that we're getting from the wine. Now first, we're going to be looking at the visual clues, giving the glass a nice big swirl. That'll allow us to pour some legs here on the side of the glass. Now some say that the legs can tell you everything about the wine. Some of them say they don't mean anything at all. And I believe it's somewhere in between. With the legs on this wine, they're forming at a decent rate, not running too fast or too slow, not too thick or too thin. Basically, it's a balanced wine. Now we're looking at the visual clues. We're going to want to put the wine over a white background. This is going to give us the best color of the wine. So here we can see it's a nice bright red, very vibrant in color. It's going to tell you that that's a fairly young wine, something that's not going to have a lot of color change to it, which in this case, a 2006, we wouldn't expect anything less. Now we're going to move on to the aromas of the wine. Now we're going to give it a nice big swirl to release those aromatics. We're going to allow more of the oxygen to come in, more of the wine to come in contact with the oxygen. That's really going to allow these aromatics to be released. So by swirling the glass, it now climbs the side. We have more being introduced to the oxygen. Now when we smell the wine, we're going to want to get our nose right in there, whatever's going to work best for us. I like to really kind of delve my nose into the glass. Now don't be afraid to get personal with the glass. It's not going to bite. A lot of bright red fruits here: cherries, plums, a little bit of blackberry on the finish, a little bit of earthiness coming through as well. I'll usually look for the fruit aromas first, then I'll go for the earthiness, a little bit of influence from the oak here, some black pepper, as well as a little bit of that kind of mushroom. Now we're going to move on to the tasting of the wine. Now once again, by swirling it, we're allowing more wine to come in contact with the oxygen. When we get the wine in our mouth, we're going to want to slurp a little oxygen in there to continue to allow it to open up and develop. That's good stuff. Now here we're getting a lot of the kind of bright red fruits up front, the plums and cherries. Moving on to some darker fruits on that finish there. And now I swallowed that wine a couple seconds ago, and it's still continuing to develop and change on my mouth. That's what's going to give you that finish. And this wine has an extremely long finish that's developing in flavors even after it's been consumed, which really is going to tell you that's a sign of a great wine. We're getting a lot of that bright red fruit, the plums, the cherries, the blackberries, the blueberries, a little bit of that earthiness. Just a wine that is absolutely amazing, and it's continuing to make my mouth salivate. I'm really looking for that next sip of wine or that next bite of food here. So I'm going to head on out and get me a little something to eat to go with this fabulous wine. We'll see you next time on the Guide of Your World of Wine. Thank you.